This is Peter Hopkins on the trail with EquineIR. Here we are at the National Cutting Horse Association meeting, Summer Spectacular in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, and I'm with Bonnie Martin from Las Vegas, Nevada. I understand you just won yourself one of these challenges here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about cutting horses and how long you've been doing this? Talk right there.
Oh, okay. My husband, Frank, we are from Las Vegas. He's a general contractor in Las Vegas, but our passion is these cutting horses, and we cut all over the West Coast. And then we try and come here to Texas 3 times a year for the Futurity and the Derby and the Summer Show. And we've had several times we've made the finals here in Fort Worth. And this time, this trip through, we actually won it. And it's always quite an accomplishment when you show on the West Coast and do well, but when you come here and you win, you know you've won against the absolute best. This is the cream of the crop out here, and I just feel very blessed, and I guess that's one more rainbow I don't have to keep chasing. Take that off my bucket list, but our passion is the horses, and we'll just keep cutting until God gives me a passion to do something else like I do the horses.
Well, that's great. Well, I understand that Weatherford, Texas is pretty much where the cream of the crop is, and so you're in that heart. Tell me a little bit about cutting horses for our listeners. Tell me, what does it take to be a cutting horse?
Well, first of all, I believe that the origin of the cutting horse is the foundation of the working cow horse, and then that's evolved into this cutting horse sport. It takes a horse that's extremely muscular and built to do what he's doing. He has to be bred to have the cowiness. Like we breed bird dogs to be birdy, we breed our cow horses to be cowy. And so you chase these bloodlines and you try to cross those with bloodlines that are going to accent this cutting horse industry, so that when you get these horses that are real cow smart, you've also got the athletic ability to go along with it, because you have to have both. And when I was walking by your booth, that's what stopped me when I seen this infrared thing going on, because every time we show these horses, the next day we go over them with a fine-tooth comb. We look for any swelling, any puffiness, any soreness, any stiffness. We start trotting them, and if they're not reaching out and covering like we feel they should, all of a sudden we're taking him to the vet and having him gone over, because these horses have to be 100%. It's hard enough to go in there with this competition if your horses aren't feeling their absolute best.
Well, I tell you, thermal imaging is a technology that can help you map the pain, and that's really a key, and that's why we're here today, is to give awareness to this industry and helping people understand. One thing that amazes me watching these horses, it's almost as if the horse has just been trained and doing the work. I mean, are you having to control this horse?
That's a funny question, because somebody asked Chubby Turner one time, just how much do you use your feet? And he says, well, not any more than I do when I'm walking. So the bottom line is, when you put your hand down, and the horse appears to be doing this on his own, the rider is piloting him with his feet every inch of the way. He's either pressing the horse across to stop the cow, or he's releasing so the horse will stop, or he's using the cow side leg or the herd side leg to maneuver this horse, because you're a team out there. When you put your hand down, you don't want that horse to think you're no longer there to support him or help him. So when you put your hand down, then it's all about piloting him with your feet.
It's just amazing. The goal, I see 2 minutes and 30 seconds up on the timer. And you have probably, 30, 40 cow that you've got to single out one? You're there to find that one, pull them out, and separate them. Is that the whole goal? And is it to do many of them, or what's the goal in that 2 minutes and 30 seconds?
Well, I tell everybody the only reason it's 2.5 minutes is because if you hold your breath for 3 minutes, you'll go brain dead. When you get out there, first of all, when that herd of cattle come in the arena, you have what's called a herd settler, and they walk through and ride through that herd. And you'll notice in the back of the Coliseum, all the riders and their trainers are up there, and they're watching those cattle. And so what we watch for is the response that cow, every one of them, have as that herd settler rides through that herd. Because that tells you the personality of that single cow. And so depending on where you draw up, if you're in the middle of the herd or at the end of the herd, you write down every cow you see. And every cow has something different about it. If that could be a whole herd of black cows, there's got to be something different about it. And so you identify them. Then as those are worked, you cross them off your list. So when you go into that herd, you have in your mind a fresh cow that works and responds like what would complement your horse. And you have to, the rules say you have to work at least 2 cattle. You can adjust your time and work 3 if you want, but usually it's no more than 3.
I see. Is it a specific one you have to pull out, or is it one you're choosing, or all the judges know which one you have to pull out?
The judges don't have a clue, and they don't care. You can cut out a cow that's already been worked. You can cut out anything you want. The judges are judging your herd work, but what you want to best help the judges evaluate your horse, its ability and talent, is a fresh cow that will move and has a lot of feel to it. So when you go in the herd as the rider, you have in your mind's eye the one you want to go pick out. You don't have to pick out that cow. If you're pushing him up through there and you want him to shape up and you want to start in the middle, if that cow takes off and runs, you should have 2 or 3 more cattle up there that you can option off to. But once you have committed to a particular cow, you must stay on that cow according to the judging. But when you go in there, you can pick anything you want. But between you and your trainer, you've already picked out 3 or 4 that you like. Then you push them up there and hope they shape up, and then you can put your hand down on those.
Well, Bonnie, I think this is great. I think you've enlightened our audience to one step closer to understanding this cutting world, and you've obviously enlightened us to understanding that your horse has to be 100%. Oh. And, if infrared thermography can help your horse, if it can help you understand where the pain is or where you might not be 100%, then obviously it might be a good option for you. So you can see more about us at EquineIR.com. And Bonnie, thanks again for sharing with us today.
You're very welcome, Peter. Thank you.
All right.